This right here is a perfect example of the quote, "This is not the flex you thought it was." So one of my followers tagged me and a few other people in a post right here, and I said, "You have got to be kidding me." Of course, I said that internally because to say it out loud would have been egregious for me, because this doesn't even shock nor surprise me in the least bit. So you have this person by the name of Sam Forster. I'm gonna be honest with you, never heard of the guy, but after this stunt, he's on the radar. So he wrote this book, as you can see on your screen, called Seven Shoulders. And I guess this was a book supposed to be talking about the black experience, or how black people deal with racism, or whatever the case may be. You know, your typical white liberal narrative is what this is shaping up to be, especially with the stunt he pulled in order to get these narratives. So if you can see right there at the top of the screen underneath his name, it says, "Last summer, I disguised myself as a black man and traveled throughout the United States to document how racism persists in American society. Writing Seven Shoulders was one of the hardest things I've ever done as a journalist, and it is out on May 30th. I'm recording this on May 28th, and I'm here to tell you I would not buy that book if I needed it to replace firewood to keep me warm on the coldest winter day." What the hell was he thinking? And I'm so glad there are people that are checking him in the comment section, and not even just black people, but there's other white people in there, like literally saying the same thing we're saying, which is the number one comment. Well, if you wanted to know what black people were experiencing and going through as far as racism goes, why didn't you, I don't know, save yourself the trouble and the makeup and the disguise and just talk to black people? We're regular people just like everybody else. But see, the thing is, a lot of them know they are in a position where nowadays a lot of black people, I'm not going to say a lot of black people, but there are some black people that are kind of standoffish to any type of PC person, no matter what they try to come at them with, because of the stuff we have seen just in the last few years alone. On top of the decades of systemic oppression we've dealt with, but also the microaggressions and all the other things underneath it. So, but still, at the same time, you could have easily just saved yourself the trouble and went and actually spoke to black people about this. It wouldn't have been that difficult. You probably would have had a good reception. Now, black people are going to really look at you with the side eye. And he actually thinks that he did something special. And the fact that he put this out there so boldly and think he wasn't going to get any clapback, I hope his book flops. I really do. Like, you basically put on blackface and disguised yourself as a black man to find out what the black experience was like, or how black people dealt with when it came to racism. And even then, I bet you it was very surface level. I bet you if I was to skim through this book, it would be some surface level shit in there that doesn't even begin to puncture the core. I mean, he really actually thought he was flexing with this. And the sad part about it is he most likely feels no shame in what he did. He probably feels he did the right thing. Remember the last time a person did something like this, and on a scale that got national attention, Rachel Dolezal, Miss quote unquote transracial herself, and she got outed by her own parents, well, her dad at least. That woman was masquerading around as a black woman for years, got a job at the NAACP, not as a white woman. And the thing about it is, she probably could have got a job at the NAACP as a white woman. And she did, but just not as, you know what I mean. And then, don't forget, went to Howard University masquerading herself as a white woman, as a black woman. And basically got the scholarship that should have went to a black young lady. Then you had, what's her name, Mindy Kaling? Her brother masqueraded himself, a whole Indian man, masqueraded himself as a black man to get a scholarship or whatever it was on a collegiate level. So see, they wear us as a disguise in order to get something that they want out of it, and then they go back to their lily white lives. In his case, that's exactly what he did, or he's going to do, because that was another comment someone had left. He can put on disguise as a black man any day of the week, but guess what? It's only a disguise. It's a costume. When he's ready to take it off, he can, and he'll go right back to his white life. Us, on the other hand, we can't wear our skin as a disguise. This is not a costume. This is who we are, and this is what we have to deal with on a regular basis. And the fact that he thought that he did this and openly said on his X account what he did and didn't think he was going to get any pushback is insane. Now I'm scrolling down a little bit, and all he's saying right here at the bottom of the screen, it says the paperback version will become available on Thursday. I hope nobody buys that either. I hope that this book gets a whole bunch of bad reviews just off of the strength of how you went about writing it. Again, see, the thing is, the narrative of the big black boogeyman or the big black boogie woman or the big black boogie person has seeped so much into their minds that they have to go through lengths. Now, keep this in mind. It said last summer. So that means last year for 3 months, because, the summer is basically encompassing of 3 months, or at least, June all the way until halfway through September, technically. This man was pretending to be a black person, a black man. So you're talking about over 90 days he was doing this to create this book, when all he had to do was just go out there and ask the people, about what's going on. I don't know how many people who's watching this video right now has ever seen that movie, The Help, but in that movie, a book was written from the perspective of the maids working for these very anti-black white people. And the character that Emma Stone played, a white woman, had them basically write the book, but she wrote it, but they were telling her the stories, and she put it out there and gave them credit for it. She didn't have to go around and put on blackface and pretend to be a black woman to go and get these stories. And you gotta think that movie was set back in the Jim Crow era, where she already knew the consequences of her actions, and they, as the maids, knew the consequences of their actions. Now, granted, that was just a movie, so I'm just using that as an example. But who knows? Something like that could have actually happened. I don't know. But the fact that in 2024, the point is, in 2024, when we are removed, well, not even so far removed, but it's not segregation anymore, and you could have easily just went up to some black people over the course of that summer that you had that blackface on, because let's be honest here, you were wearing blackface. Sam, you were wearing blackface. You could have just went and talked to everyday black people about what, how did they experience and deal with racism on any capacity, and if they were receptive and open to you, they would have been receptive and gave you the information that you wanted for the book. Granted, you also give them credit. That's another thing. Did he even give them credit in this book? Because remember, these are not his stories. Okay, it said he went throughout the United States. Notice he basically went on a tour. He didn't go to just one state or two states. They say throughout the United States, so he went to several states to go and pretend to be a black man to get information out of actual black people. And like I said earlier, he feels he did nothing wrong when he did everything wrong. Sam Forster and his book I don't speak for every black person, but I think I speak for us when I say this. Sam Forster in this Seven Shoulders book can kiss all of our collective black ass. Really. He actually thought he was doing something. You actually did not do anything good. This is not a good look for him. He does not look like a beacon of whatever. This was very self-serving. Let's just be real with ourselves here. He was doing this as a self-serving act to himself. This is like writing a Dear John letter to you from you. That's exactly what he did. And he feels no shame at all for doing this. He should. And the shame should be no one, or a small sector or small amount of people, do not buy this book or review bomb it. I could care at this point. I could care less what's in the book. This book could actually hold some good narratives. I don't want to. I don't want to know about it because of the lengths that he went to get that information when he could have did it a whole nother way. Even if you didn't want to say, like, I don't know, go and meet up with all of these people. I don't know how well known he is, because like I said, I just found out about him today. He could have put something out there that say, hey, I'm writing this book and I would like to have people, to speak to people who, can relate to this book, put out some information and see if people receive it that way. Or the easiest way, like we said, just go out there and talk to the people. And basically, you want to know what's even more interesting? This guy's moving like a polytriction. KG, Kid Gravity, talks about this all the time. Go talk to black folks. But they won't do it. And the thing is, he's not even a politician, so this should not have even been a shred of difficulty for him to do. He's not running for any political office. He was just trying to write a book. That's it. And he couldn't even do that right. So as far as I'm concerned, fuck him and his raggedy ass book.